Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. The video got caught up, but that doesn't matter. So let's continue with the sundial notion of follow the sequence. So we have this urgency, this need, this instinct to stare at the sun, to seek sunlight, right? It's one of the fundamental energy sources. So with our eyes and the iris and the cones, we stare at the sun. We see like light comes from the sun. So we stare at the sun and we open our hearts. So we open the portal by staring at the sun. Our eyeballs are spherical like the sun. So we look at the sun, we stare at the sun, we gaze at the sun, we lock eyes with the sun, and then that energy comes into our brains and into our hearts. So remember, building the bridge is the electromagnetic field, right? The electromagnetic field around our body generated by the pulse of creation of the heartbeat in sync with the electromagnetic field of the sun itself. So we can communicate with the sun at a cosmical, at a very powerful level. We are one with it. It's like we're in sync. We're connecting. It's harmonious. We are in sync. And this is what sundial is. We're in sync with the sun. We follow the sun is with us all the time, and we can create and do our best things because this energy comes into our brains through our eyes. Then it goes to our heart, so we can have stronger brains, stronger visions of who we are and what we do, our true self, deal with trauma, all these different things. Our brains are powerful creators, remember, just like our heart and us, we're all just creators, this energy. And then our heart will be stronger, braver, more courageous to take action, deal with those trauma, and just neutralize the negative energy with our love and healing and doing all these different things. And then on top of that, obviously, creating, taking the daily action required. So we manifest our dreams with our free will. Yeah, our dreams come true. So this is in a nutshell what sundial is, who we are, compass. So today's video is about purposeful sequence, which is follow the sequence, which is essentially the actions that you take, the actual actions that you go by, to make sure that your dream comes true. The previous video was about time blocking and scheduling. This is about the actual things that you do once you allocated the time and you're actually in the moment, here and now, taking the action, manifesting your free will here and now. So let's talk about it. We understand fundamentally who we are. We're sundials. We are compass. So action, which is what this video is about, is the fourth primary element of compass. So let's dive in. Let's just do that. So obviously it starts with just as a referral. You can always refer to the image at y.how/purposeful-sequence. That's y.how/purposeful-sequence. It's on Substack, it's on YouTube, on the website. But let's talk about it. So it starts with purposeful goals. We have spoken about what purposeful goals are. This is the beginning of it all, right? It starts with the goal itself. We already allocated the time. Time is being blocked. We schedule it. It's there. We have the daily practice. We're gonna take daily action. So it starts with the purposeful goals because you need to make sure that you're not just wasting your time. The commitment levels, whatever time you allocated, you're just not sitting there idling. No, you actually have a purpose. You're doing what you're supposed to do, which is your goal, your purposeful goal. It starts with a purposeful goal. That's what you're doing with that time that you allocated. So remember, purposeful goals is the foundation of purposeful daily action. Starts with who drives our goals? Our true self. That's why we're sitting right there, because we allocated the time as ourself. We're making our dreams come true. Why? Why these goals? Because this is aligned with who we are. So the actions that we're taking are the actions necessary to get to our dream, to make our dream come true. How? Best practices, which is what we're doing. We're allocating the time, we're blocking the time, we're scheduling it, and then we're going to take the actual tasks, do the tasks, and take the actions and prioritize them and do it, which is what I'm going to explain now, through applying best practices. So how are our goals reached? Applying best practices, which is what we're doing right now. What gets us there? Purposeful daily action, commitment levels, daily action, time blocking, scheduling, purposeful goals, having the action, doing the action, which is what I'm going to break down and explain now. When do we act? Every day within reason, daily action, purposeful daily action. We allocated the time every day. Where do we act? Wherever needed, whenever we can, wherever we can. So this is what purposeful goals is. Obviously, we allocated the time, we have the time. So now let's start with purposeful goals. And then we move into the actual activity, which is actionable tasks. Because an action, if we're achieving something, if we are achieving something, if we are going somewhere, right? If we are going somewhere, if we're getting to a dream, making our dreams come true, our purpose, our goals, our objective, right? You need to do tasks. Those are the actions. You're actioning tasks. You're getting tasks completed. You're completing tasks. You're getting the job done. Tasks. It comes. The activity itself, the action is a task. It has to be an actionable task. So it starts with an actionable task. You act on the task, something that you can do, and that task has to be aligned with your purpose, with your true self, with your identity, with what you do. For example, you want to become a better dancer. Well, what tasks do you have to do? Well, you need to learn methods, or you need to practice, or you need to exercise. And this thing happens as a task. What's the task? Well, today I'm going to learn how to stretch, because if I stretch, I can be a better dancer because I have more flexibility and better movement. Perfect. So the task today will be to learn how to stretch. Oh, but I don't know how to stretch. Well, then let's break it down into a previous step, which is learning how to stretch. So let's watch a video or be with someone that's going to teach us how to stretch. So that's the task, for example. You see? So then you can learn the skill, so then you can actually stretch. So then you can always stretch before you dance, because this is important, because it's flexibility, it's movement, and then it's going to make you a better dancer. That's just an example. And you can apply this across the board for all reasons. If you're an athlete, say a footballer, well, you are, say, a goalkeeper. Well, you are wanting to become, you want to improve your reflexes. So what are the tasks require, the actions that you need to take to improve your reflexes? So there is certain exercises and certain movement, and then you go and do a task, and the task is just so you improve your reflexes. And there is some exercises and some movements and some actions that you can take, and some trainings and some workouts and some things, so you increase your reflexes. So that's an example, and with that you can apply it across the board. You see, it's very granular. It breaks down to that very sequence itself. Is just you go to where you have to go in order to make sure that your purposeful goal, the goal itself, say for example you're a footballer, being a goalkeeper, be the best goalkeeper, a good goalkeeper, a professional goalkeeper. One of the required tasks is for you to learn how to have better reflexes and be better, so you can actually stop the ball from going inside the goal and the opposite team scoring. So then again, it's part of it. So it's just one of the tasks. So these are actionable tasks. So, and then you break actionable tasks down into sets. It's called task sets. So in this example, in the visual, I have it as 4 sets. So task set A, task set B, task set C, and task set D. So 4 blocks, so 4 chunks of tasks. It's called chunking. So you break things down into tasks. And the sets are relatable. So these tasks are all related. Say, for example, that you're learning about reflexes, having better reflexes, better reactions, and all these different timing and all these different things if you're a goalkeeper, or flexibility or stretching if you're a dancer, say. So the task sets are all related. So you learn the tasks for each specific. So in case of improving your reflexes, so you have a task set A, and there is task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4. You can number them. Each task is related to that ability, that skill, that thing that you're learning, which is the having better reflexes. So you break it down in the order and the sequence that matters the most. Okay, so this is the first thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to get the balls required if I'm learning reflexes, small balls, tennis balls, or ping pong balls, or whatever balls. so I can do the activity. Then I'm going to get a person that's going to help me, is going to throw the balls at me, or I'm going to get blindfolded and get the blindfolds, and then I'm going to start the sequence and the exercises and the motions, and this is what I'm going to go about it. And this is exercise 1, this is exercise 2, this is exercise 3, and I'm going to train in this way 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the number of sets, this is the number of reps. So this is what the breakdown of the task set is. So you have a sequence, you break it down, and then you get it done. That's just an example. It's an example for reflexes. And if you're a stretcher or stretching or learning how to move, exactly the same. First, if you need any support equipment for the stretching, you get the support equipment. If you need to watch a video, you put the video on. You need a mat, you get the mat, and then you put the right clothes, and then you start. If you're doing it with a human, you follow the human, and that person is your guide, or you just follow the video, and you start the stretch, you start the actual activity and the different tasks, different exercises, different movements, and you practice and you do it. You spend the time and energy. Remember, you're committed to the time and the energy because you have a specific time allocated. So if you have, say, 10 minutes allocated to this task, then it's 10 minutes of learning how to stretch, or 10 minutes of learning how to get reflexes. Better reflexes, improve your reflexes. So this is just how it works. So if it's about writing a book, it's 10 minutes about writing. You're going to be writing for 10 minutes. So this is what it is. So, and then you have different task sets. So maybe a task set A that has 4 or 3 tasks. In this case, it's 3 tasks. In this example, then they might take you a week to get those tasks done. Because task 1 could take you 3 days, task 2 can take you 2 days, and then task 3 can take you 2 days, because if you allocated, say, 10 minutes a day, then that's 20 minutes for task 1, 30 minutes for task 2, and 20 minutes for task 3, something like that, because that's the allocation for the week. And then that you finish that set, that chunk, so you got that part done, and then you move to the next task. So this is just an example, but this is just how it is. And obviously, once you have your task broken down into chunks, you break it down into blocks of tasks that are all related, and they are essentially part of these actions that you're taking. They're all tasks, jobs that need to be done. Your task list, your to-do list. Then you prioritize them, which is the next level. So you have to prioritize those tasks. So you have task set A, B, C, and D. So you have to know the right sequence. So you prioritize. So which task is most important and urgent, and which one needs to be done first. So you sequence it. If I want to be a good dancer, I need to learn how to stretch before I do anything else. So the first task set is learning how to stretch. So you learn how to stretch first, and you spend your time and your energy, your commitment levels stretching. Then you want to learn about movement. Okay, so the sun is kind of like leaving already the angle, so I just go back to the state. So the task set 2 is about movement, is specific movements of a dance style, or just like learning how to flow or whatever. So you have tasks, specific tasks and exercises and trainings that you do, and you break them down based on your availability and your commitment levels or time. So, and then you can spend a week or 2 weeks on that stage. And then the third stage is putting it together with a song and practicing it with a song. So then you spend 1, 2, 5 weeks learning the choreography of a song, say, for example, with your allocation and the time available. So you stretch, you do your movements, and then you dance your choreography and you practice it. So that's why you go, you prioritize, you see sequence, you prioritize. And then the last set is presenting it, doing a rehearsal in front of an audience, or actually doing it at an event in front of a crowd. And then that you practice for that, you rehearse, you have your auditions, you have your events, you do what you gotta do, and then you do the task every day, the commitment levels, the practice, the training, the stretching, the movement, the choreography, the rehearsing, and then the event takes place. So that's how you prioritize it. You see, you're prioritizing based on importance and urgency. This is how you go about it. If it's about reflexes, okay, so why are you a goalkeeper and you want to be a better goalkeeper? So you're learning about reflexes. Well, so those are the tasks that we spoke about. This is task set A, and it took you a week to kind of understand what the system is. So you did it for a week, improve your reflexes. And then the next set of tasks is about putting it together. Now that you kind of understand what reflexes are, and you have the smaller tennis balls or the ping pong balls and blindfolded and someone supporting you, and you can hear the sounds and you can move instinctively and all that, then you put it into practice, and now you move into the field, and now you allocate the time for your reflexes on the pitch at the actual goal. And then you have you're blindfolded, for example, and then you have people just like kicking the ball at you while you're blindfolded in the pitch, in the goal. You're there, and then you allocate your time, and the people are there, and you, because of the noise and the notions and the sounds, you start to have better reflection, and maybe the 5 people kicking the ball at you at the same time, so you try to stop all the balls at the same time. So it's different exercises, and you have the time and the allocation, right? So that exercise could be a week. You keep on doing that for a week, and then the third task set could be actually doing it during training. Now you are actually in an actual training environment, like a training session, an actual game with your teammates. So you are not only like having this, actually the reflexes, you put them into practice in an actual training environment that is more realistic. So you're practicing, you're working out, you're training, you're rehearsing, you're exercising, and then you have the ability during the game to test your new ability, which is improved skill of reflexes. So this is how you go about it, and then that could take you a month of practicing, and you can see the results. Wow, my reflexes are a lot better now. And then it comes to championship level or game level, and then you are there and at a game, and then you stop 5 or 6 tries, and then the scoreless, and then you guys won the game because of your effort as a goalkeeper, and you saved 5 or 6 plays that were quite close and crucial and avoided you from losing the game. And then you see you have improved, and then you have your that's the task. You see, you're putting them into action, daily action. This is why this is so important, and these are just examples. This is how you prioritize the tasks, the sequencing of it. That's why you gotta follow the sequence, and then the prioritization of the order of which task comes first. And this is why it's important. This is why it's purposeful. This is why you have why-how to recalibrate and make sure that you choose the right tasks and you do the right jobs and you take the right action, because this is all for a reason. For example, if you're a writer, task set A could be about coming up with a storyline for your next book. And then you can just have different tasks about what the book could be. And then you can allocate, say that you allocated half an hour for this every day. So task A is about coming up with a storyline, say, for example, or an idea for the book. So you spend your half an hour brainstorming, thinking of characters, thinking of storylines, of narratives, ways you would weave it, ways in which you will go about the order, and what the story will be about. And then you can do that, and then you develop that, and then you do that. That could take you a month. You spend half an hour a day for a month developing the characters, developing the storylines, the narrative, the sequences, the timelines, the order, what the idea of the book is, what is it about, depending on what type of book. So that's why you always prioritize what comes first. And experience is important, but if you don't really know, if this is not your first book and you haven't done this before, then it could be about learning how to create stories. So you spend your tasks and your time and your energy learning the skill about what storytelling is, what writing is, how you write, what a story is, what a character is, what a narrative is, and how you go about it, storytelling. So, and how you build characters, how you build roles, how you build everything, the different sequences of what makes a book, say, for example. And you go like this it takes you a month, say, for example, to learn this. You do a course and you allocated an hour a day on a long line course about learning how to write or learning how to structure a book. Or then maybe you have writer's block, and then what you really need is just to sit down and write. So you sit down, and for every day you just write. Whatever it is comes to your mind, journaling, you just write with your hands, or you type with your computer, but you just sit down for half an hour a day and you just type whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be related to the narrative if you haven't built it, or it's just whatever. Okay, so character 1, let's talk about character 1, whatever, just write. And you just go action. You just write. Forget about the details, just write. Get the job done, just write. And you can do that, and it would take a while, you see, because it's all time, it's all energy. And then eventually you have the different tasks. Then, you write chapter 1, and then you write chapter 2, and that could take you 5 months to write chapter 1. Every day, half an hour a day, you wrote chapter 1. And then you go like this, and then until you finish the book. And then you have a manuscript, and then you publish it, which is what I've done. I decided to publish it for free online without having to go through any systems, because I'm not here for a monetary reward. I'm here to help humanity. So that's it, right? In my case, for example, it took me, I wrote the book and I did what I did with the visuals. It took me 5 years. 5 years of daily action. 5 years of daily action. So daily action. And sometimes I would do 5 minutes, sometimes I would do a minute, but I would always do something every day. And now I'm not finished because I'm commenting on the book, I'm narrating the book. It's an audiovisual book, right? The visual is the image, and then I'm talking about the book in a visual manner. So you listen to what my ideas are about the book, my knowledge of it, my thinking. And the best way to put it is in this as free association method, which is just free communication. I just communicate freely. It's a free form. It's just, I talk about it. I don't edit it. I don't filter it. If it gets cut off, I just start again and I continue, and it's free association. I just go freely. I just talk. It's like a vlog. I just talk about the book, about the ideas. And eventually, I can just get a transcript of these. Doesn't really matter, whatever I want to do, or I can just write other ideas to support it, and plus the video. So it's all about documenting, and it's about documenting the process. So in my case, it took me 5+ years, and I haven't finished. You see, it's been 5+ years, and I'm still doing it. I'm still writing about it. I'm still talking about it. Because this is my life purpose. You see, my life purpose is to communicate the message of who we are. The name of the book is Fantasies and Illusions, Compass, the quest for free will. Who we are, our story as a human race, where we come from, and what we have achieved, and why I have the certainty through objective reality to know for sure that we are light spherical beings. That we actually are a benevolent race, that we have free will. And there's all these things that I always talk about. So, and that's it. So you see, then obviously part of the sequence of tasks, you prioritize your tasks. And then you have urgency and importance, right? It's based on this matrix that's been developed a long time ago. What's urgent and what's important, you need to understand. And there is a point of the interlock. So the interlocking point, that's the task that you have to do. What's urgent and important. You prioritize and you have a sequence, but sometimes there are things that are more urgent and important. So whatever the urgent and important intersects, that's the task that you do. That's the one that matters the most. That's the one that you work on, that you focus on. And you see that because Compass is about flow. We flow with our actions, daily action. You start to realize that what you thought was important, it wasn't really that important, because you're starting to see how things start to flow, and the urgent thing is not that urgent anymore. Or what you thought wasn't important, it's actually very important, and then it's urgent for you to focus on that. So your sense of urgency focuses on what truly matters. I have spoken about this before. It's part of purpose, is part of this, right? What we're doing, this is all about purpose, daily action, creating. It's part of action, is your sense of urgency focused on what truly matters. Because remember, you need to have all these ideas I have spoken about. You have to be able to measure these. You track it, track to completion. That's why you have tasks, because it's the completion of the task that tells you, okay, to-do list, got these tasks, they've been completed. Done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all done. They're all relevant. They're all important. And you've done it in the priority that matters because of the sequence. This is important, this is urgent, this is important, this is urgent, this is not important, I just don't have to do this. You don't waste your time with it and you move on. So this is what truly matters. So it takes us to the core of it, which is choose right task set, focus on task at hand. It's as simple as that. You focus on the task at hand, but you choose the right task. You just don't choose any task. You have a limited amount of time. You have a commitment level. Remember, you have 10 minutes a day, half an hour a day, every day. So you have to make sure that you're purposeful daily action. You're actually using your time wisely. You're not just sitting there wasting your time. Okay, clock's going, half an hour. Yeah, I'm taking action. No. So you're sitting there, and the moment the clock starts or whatever you track it, however you measure it, doesn't really matter. You are actually working on it. You're advancing your agenda. You're taking action. So you're focused on the task at hand. And that's why it matters, because once you start to get into the motion of whatever you do, you know what you have to do next, because everything starts to click. Your brain is very intelligent. Once you have this sequence that I'm giving you, once you have this order, once everything is in place, then you kind of know, and then you reprioritize, you make things, everything flows. So it's based on how you go with your activities. That's why daily action is important, because daily action is what creates the momentum to know exactly where you at and what needs to be done, and you put the energy and effort and the love behind your actions so it gets done. So the focus is that, the flow, because when you're in the task, you're focused, you're in flow, you in the zone, you're actually getting it done. You forget about time. Sometimes you say, you know what, I'm going to allocate half an hour to do this, but then you're doing it and then it's really good, and then you get stuck on it for 5 hours. Happens to me all the time. So yeah, that's just how it works. So it's just beautiful. And you would know instinctively what the right task is once you start to gain the motion. You gain momentum. You in the motion of things. You flow with your activities. Is your purpose. No one knows your purpose better than you. Your heart's telling you do this, do that. It feels good. It doesn't feel good. Don't do that. Do this. So it's all about that. It's all about understanding that. So as you can see, it all comes together.